the Balcony Chills podcast.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Looks like you've been digging into some seriously fascinating stuff. Ancient Hindu texts, mysterious temples, and even the possibility of alien encounters. We're about to uncover some mind-blowing details from that YouTube video you sent over.
Oh yeah, Praveen Mohan.
Yeah, Praveen Mohan. The guy seems to have explored like every ancient site on the planet. So tell me, what really jumped out at you from his work?
Well, you know what I find captivating about Praveen Mohan is, like, his approach. He doesn't just visit these temples.
Right.
He spends weeks meticulously documenting them, analyzing carvings, decoding their meaning. It's like he's piecing together a giant puzzle.
Yeah.
You know? One that challenges our conventional understanding of history.
Okay, I love that puzzle analogy. Where should we start piecing things together?
You know those massive drawings on the ground?
Like what?
Like the Nazca lines in Peru.
Oh, yeah.
Those are called geoglyphs. They're so huge they can only really be seen from the air.
Right.
And it turns out there are similar but lesser known geoglyphs in California called the Blythe Intaglios.
Wait, hold on. Giant drawings in California. I've never even heard of those.
Exactly. And that's what makes this so intriguing. We have these massive designs etched into the earth in different parts of the world, and their purpose is still debated. The most compelling theory is that they were created for, like, the gods, viewable from the sky.
Okay.
You know.
This is the kind of stuff that makes you rethink everything you thought you knew about history. And how does this connect to Praveen Mohan's work in India?
So he's an expert in Sanskrit and has studied ancient Indian texts,
Okay.
like the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. These texts describe vimanas, which are basically flying machines.
Whoa, so we're talking about ancient flying machines. That's getting into ancient astronaut territory.
It really is. And it begs the question, did ancient humans possess technology that's been lost to time? Or did they have contact with beings who did? Think about the implications of ancient cultures having knowledge of flight. It completely changes how we understand their capabilities.
That would rewrite history as we know it. Now, Praveen Mohan also talks about the Kailasa Temple. That one is literally carved out of a single rock, right?
Yes.
I've seen pictures. It's insane.
The Kailasa Temple is absolutely mind-boggling. It's a monolithic structure, meaning it was carved from a single massive rock. We're talking about 200,000 tons of rock removed to create this temple.
I can't even imagine the effort that would take. What do historians say about how it was built?
The traditional explanation involves chisels and hammers, but Praveen Mohan argues that's practically impossible given the scale and the intricacy of the Kailasa Temple.
Yeah, I can see that.
He believes more advanced technology must have been involved.
So we're back to lost ancient technology again. Is there anything else that supports that idea?
Well, there's a monolithic church in Ethiopia. This demonstrates that carving structures from a single rock wasn't unique to India. This pattern of monolithic structures appearing across cultures suggests a possible shared knowledge or influence that we haven't fully explored. It challenges the conventional narrative of isolated civilizations developing independently.
That's a really good point. It's like these ancient cultures were connected in ways we're only just beginning to understand. Praveen Mohan also spends a lot of time exploring the Indus Valley Civilization, which seems shrouded in mystery.
Yeah, the Indus Valley Civilization is fascinating because it was so advanced.
Right.
They had sophisticated urban planning, drainage systems, things you wouldn't expect to see thousands of years ago.
Right.
But here's the thing. We have almost no historical records about them from outside sources. It's like they just appeared out of nowhere.
It's like a giant piece of the historical puzzle is missing.
Exactly.
And he even brings up a theory about one of their major cities, Mohenjo-Daro, being destroyed by a nuclear weapon. That sounds pretty wild.
It is a controversial theory, but there is evidence that supports it.
Oh, really? Like what?
Skeletons were found at Mohenjo-Daro that appear to have been killed instantly, and there's evidence of vitrified rock, which is rock that's been turned to glass by intense heat.
Is there anything in those ancient Indian texts that could explain that kind of destruction?
Well, there are descriptions of the Brahmastra, a mythical weapon with effects eerily similar to a nuclear explosion. You know, extreme temperatures, vitrified rock, and long-lasting devastation. It's certainly a thought-provoking connection.
You're telling me. It really makes you wonder if there's more to our ancient history than we've been taught. Now, I know Praveen Mohan also focuses on some of the intricate architecture in these temples, specifically the Hoysala temple and its insanely detailed pillars.
Yeah.
What's the story there?
Those pillars are huge. We're talking tons, and they're covered in these incredibly intricate designs. What's fascinating is that they were lathe-turned.
Wait, lathe turned, like they used a lathe to create these massive pillars.
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
Yeah, that's the question. Even archaeologists acknowledge that lathes must have been used.
Right.
But the problem is, the conventional timeline suggests that kind of technology wasn't available in India at that time.
I'm trying to picture how they'd even use a lathe on something that massive. Do we have any idea what this ancient setup might have looked like?
There is evidence for ancient lathes found at Hampi, another historical site in India.
Okay.
They found a stone wheel with a central fitting that wouldn't make sense in any context other than a lathe. And there are perfectly aligned holes and pillars, indicating the use of some type of rotating tool. Praveen Mohan even reconstructs a possible ancient lathe setup based on what he found.
So there's actual physical evidence supporting this idea of ancient lathes.
It seems so. This raises serious questions about the level of technological sophistication present in ancient India. But there are alternative theories too.
Oh, like what?
Some researchers believe that ancient people might have used oxalic acid to soften stones for carving.
Oxalic acid. Where would they get that?
It's found in plants. Think about how lemon juice can be used to remove rust.
Yeah.
That's an example of a natural substance having these powerful chemical properties.
Yeah.
Praveen Mohan himself observed plant roots destroying temples in Cambodia. And in India, there's a long-held belief that herbs were used to manipulate stone.
So maybe they didn't need advanced machinery after all, just a deep understanding of plants and their chemistry? That's pretty amazing. Now, I know we have a lot more to cover, but before we move on, you mentioned that Praveen Mohan also explored a place called Sigiriya in Sri Lanka. Why is that site significant?
Sigiriya's incredible picture, a massive rock formation with a fortress built right on top. The thing is, there are all these mysterious scoop marks on the surface of this rock. It sparked a big debate about whether the rock formation is natural or if it was somehow artificially modified.
Hold on, scoop marks. Are we talking about those precise, almost machine-like indentations you see on ancient structures all over the world?
Exactly. It's a pattern that repeats itself in various ancient sites. It makes you wonder about the tools and techniques our ancestors might have had access to. And this leads us to a pretty controversial topic, the idea of giants.
Giants. Like giant humans. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Praveen Mohan actually quotes Abraham Lincoln, who acknowledged a widespread belief that giants were the builders of ancient mounds in America. It's a theory that's often dismissed in mainstream history, but it's fascinating to think about.
Wait, Abraham Lincoln talked about giants. That's news to me. But wouldn't we have found some hard evidence by now if giants really existed?
It's a highly contested theory, and conclusive scientific evidence is still lacking. However, the fact that figures like Abraham Lincoln openly acknowledged this belief speaks volumes about how prevalent these ideas were, even among influential people.
So we're venturing into the realm of alternative history here, and this ties into something else Praveen Mohan discusses: censorship on platforms like YouTube, right?
Yes, he talks about how YouTube has become increasingly restrictive when it comes to content that challenges conventional thinking. And he argues that this censorship might actually be doing more harm than good.
How so?
Well, he believes that by trying to suppress certain viewpoints like those of Alex Jones or David Icke, you might actually be fueling conspiracy theories. People see these figures being silenced, and they assume there must be something to hide.
That's a really interesting point. It's like the forbidden fruit. The more you try to hide something, the more people want to know about it.
Exactly. The question is, does silencing controversial voices really help combat misinformation? Or does it just drive those ideas further underground?
It's a complex issue, that's for sure. And to wrap up this part of our deep dive, Praveen Mohan leaves us with a final mystery: the Taj Mahal.
The Taj Mahal is considered one of the most beautiful buildings in the world.
Right.
But some believe it was built on top of a pre-existing Hindu structure.
Wait, really? What evidence is there for that?
There are sealed doorways and underground chambers beneath the Taj Mahal.
So there could be hidden structures beneath one of the world's most famous landmarks. What could possibly be down there?
That's the million-dollar question. What's hidden down there? And why was it sealed off? It's a tantalizing mystery that adds another layer to the Taj Mahal's already rich history.
This is incredible. We've covered so much ground already. From giant geoglyphs to flying machines and the possibility of lost technology. I can't wait to see what else we uncover in your research.
I mean, those sealed chambers beneath the Taj Mahal have fueled so many theories, right? Some even suggest they hold evidence of a lost civilization or, advanced ancient technology. It really makes you wonder what secrets might be hidden beneath this, iconic monument.
It's like we seriously underestimate what ancient people were capable of. It's almost like Praveen Mohan is unearthing an alternative version of history, a version that challenges the narratives, we've been taught in school growing up.
I think that's a great way to put it. He's like a detective, right? Piecing together clues from ancient texts, archaeological sites, and his own observations. And he's not afraid to challenge the status quo, even if it makes people uncomfortable.
He definitely presents a compelling case. It's not just speculation. He has photographs, diagrams, even reconstructions of ancient tools and techniques.
Right.
It's hard to dismiss all of that as pure fantasy.
Absolutely. And while some of his theories might seem far-fetched at first, he always backs them up with evidence. He doesn't shy away from scientific analysis or historical documentation, even when it contradicts, the mainstream narrative.
It's refreshing to see someone approach these topics with such an open mind. He's not saying this is the absolute truth. He's saying, here's the evidence. Let's explore the possibilities together.
That's a crucial distinction. He's not preaching. He's inviting us to participate in the discovery process. He encourages critical thinking and challenges us to question assumptions, to consider multiple perspectives. I mean, he even acknowledges that some of his ideas are, speculative.
I think that's what makes him so appealing to a wide audience. He's approachable, engaging, and genuinely passionate about uncovering the mysteries of our past. You can tell he's driven by a deep desire to understand where we come from.
Yeah, his enthusiasm is contagious.
Yeah.
And that passion shines through in his storytelling.
What?
He doesn't just present dry facts, he weaves them into a narrative that, captures the imagination.
It's like watching a documentary that blends history, science, and a touch of Indiana Jones adventure.
Yeah.
You get swept up in the mystery and you want to learn more. And he's not afraid to tackle controversial topics like censorship and the suppression of alternative viewpoints.
Right. That's an important aspect of his work. He highlights the dangers of, limiting free speech and the potential for censorship to backfire. He argues that open dialogue and the free exchange of ideas are, essential for uncovering the truth.
He even suggests that silencing dissenting voices only strengthens conspiracy theories by creating an atmosphere of secrecy and distrust. It's like the more you try to suppress an idea, the more people believe it must be hiding something important.
Exactly. He argues that instead of censorship, we need critical thinking and open-mindedness.
Yeah.
We need to be able to evaluate evidence, consider different perspectives, and engage in respectful debate, even when we disagree.
It's about fostering a culture of intellectual curiosity rather than one of fear and dogma. He's essentially saying, don't just believe what you're told, question everything, investigate for yourself, and come to your own conclusions.
He encourages us to be active participants in the search for knowledge, rather than passive recipients of information. And he reminds us that history is not, set in stone.
Right.
It's constantly being revised and reinterpreted as new evidence emerges.
It's like he's saying the past is not a closed book. It's a living document that we're still writing.
Exactly.
And he's inviting us to join him in that ongoing exploration. He also raises the question of what truly constitutes evidence and how easily our perceptions can be influenced by, those in positions of authority.
Yeah. He points out that what's considered scientific fact today might be dismissed as pseudoscience tomorrow,
Right.
He reminds us that history is full of examples of scientific discoveries that were initially ridiculed or ignored because they challenged prevailing beliefs.
It's almost like he's urging us to be skeptical, not just of alternative theories, but also of mainstream narratives. He's saying, don't just accept something because it's in a textbook or because an expert said so. Dig deeper, ask questions, and demand evidence.
It's about cultivating a healthy skepticism and a critical eye. It's about being able to distinguish between genuine evidence and unfounded claims,
Right.
And it's about recognizing that even experts can be wrong, especially when their beliefs are challenged by new information.
It's like he's saying, the truth is out there, but it's not always easy to find. It takes effort, critical thinking, and a willingness to challenge conventional wisdom. And that's where his work truly shines. He provides us with the tools and the inspiration to embark on our own journeys of discovery.
He shows us that history is not just about memorizing dates and names.
Right.
It's about understanding the past, questioning the present, and shaping the future.
He's reminding us that we're all part of this ongoing story, and we have a responsibility to engage with it thoughtfully and critically. He also acknowledges the limitations of our current knowledge and the vastness of what we still don't know.
Yeah. He emphasizes that there are still countless mysteries to be uncovered, and that the more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. He encourages us to, embrace the unknown and to approach it with curiosity rather than fear.
It's like he's saying the universe is full of wonders and we're just beginning to scratch the surface. He reawakens that sense of awe and wonder that we often lose as we get older.
He reminds us that there's still so much to explore, to discover, and to understand. And he inspires us to join him in that ongoing quest for knowledge and truth.
He also highlights the importance of seeking multiple perspectives and not limiting ourselves to a single narrative. He encourages us to listen to voices that challenge our beliefs, even if they make us uncomfortable.
Right, that's a crucial point. He argues that echo chambers and ideological silos only serve to limit our understanding. He encourages us to engage with diverse viewpoints, even those we disagree with, right, in order to broaden our perspectives and challenge our assumptions.
It's about recognizing that no one person or group has a monopoly on the truth, and that true knowledge comes from a synthesis of different viewpoints.
It's essentially saying, don't just surround yourself with people who think like you. Seek out different perspectives, challenge your own beliefs, and be open to changing your mind.
It's about embracing intellectual humility and recognizing that we all have blind spots. Now, shifting gears a bit, Praveen Mohan also touches on the declining birth rates in both India and the US.
Right. It's a global trend that has far-reaching implications. While some might see it as a solution to, overpopulation, it raises concerns about, economic sustainability and societal well-being in the future. And this ties back to his larger point about learning from the past, If ancient civilizations had knowledge about maintaining societal balance, perhaps that's something we need to rediscover.
That's a great point. It's almost like we need to look to the past for solutions to the challenges we face today.
Exactly. He even mentions the possibility of AI playing a role in extending human lifespans, which could potentially exacerbate the issue of overpopulation.
Wow. Imagine a world where humans live for hundreds of years. What would that mean for our planet, our resources, our social structures?
It's both exciting and terrifying to think about. Praveen Mohan doesn't offer any, easy answers, but he certainly raises some important questions about the future of humanity.
He leaves us with a sense that we're living in extraordinary times, facing unprecedented challenges and opportunities. What I find particularly striking is his recurring theme of forgotten or suppressed knowledge.
Right. It's a thread that runs through much of his work. That suggests that ancient civilizations possess knowledge and technologies that we've lost or that have been deliberately hidden from us.
It's like he's uncovering a lost chapter in human history, one that challenges our assumptions about our place in the cosmos.
He encourages us to look beyond the conventional narratives, to explore the fringes of knowledge, and to consider the possibility that we might not be as advanced as we think we are.
It's a humbling thought, but also an empowering one. If we can rediscover this lost knowledge, imagine the possibilities.
Yeah.
It's like we're being called to step up and, rediscover what's been lost. Praveen Mohan's work really is a testament to the power of curiosity and the thrill of exploring the unknown.
Absolutely. He reminds us that there's still so much out there to be discovered and that the pursuit of knowledge is like a lifelong journey.
Speaking of journeys, this deep dive into your sources has been quite the adventure.
Yeah, it has.
From giant geoglyphs to possible ancient nuclear weapons, lathe-turned pillars, hidden chambers, it's amazing how much fascinating information you packed into your research.
Well, it's clear you're drawn to the mysteries of the past.
Oh, definitely.
And what's so compelling about Praveen Mohan's work is that he doesn't just present these mysteries. He gives you tools to analyze them, to think critically about them.
It's true, he doesn't shy away from the big questions. Were ancient civilizations more advanced than we give them credit for? Did they have help from otherworldly beings? Is there a hidden history that's been deliberately suppressed?
He lays out the evidence and encourages you to draw your own conclusions. He's not trying to force a belief system on anyone. He's simply inviting you to question what you thought you knew and to explore alternative possibilities.
I think that's what makes this deep dive so thought-provoking. It's not just about learning facts, it's about expanding our understanding of what might be possible. It's about realizing that the history we've been taught might not be the whole story.
He invites us to consider that perhaps we're not at the pinnacle of human achievement.
Right.
That maybe there were civilizations in the past that knew things we've forgotten, and that if we open our minds, we might be able to rediscover that lost knowledge and use it to create a better future.
It's both humbling and inspiring. So after going on this deep dive with Praveen Mohan, what are you left pondering? What stands out to you as the most important takeaway?
For me, it's the importance of keeping an open mind. It's about questioning the narratives we've been given and being willing to explore alternative perspectives. It's about remembering that the quest for knowledge is never ending, and that there's always more to learn, more to discover.
That's beautifully said, and I think that's a perfect note to end on. What I find so compelling about this deep dive is that it's not just about the past, it's about the present and the future. It's about how we understand our place in the world, the choices we make, and the potential we have to create a better future. If ancient civilizations were able to achieve great things, perhaps we can too.
Perhaps we can even surpass them.
Exactly. The possibilities are limitless if we dare to open our minds and imagine. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that spark of curiosity alive.